So yesterday, Camilla Tominey was on This Morning, and she spoke with great authority about how long the Duchess of Sussex had been in communication with Oprah Winfrey. The truth is, she doesn't know. Nobody knows for sure. There's a lot of people that the Duchess of Sussex, or let's go back even further, Meghan Markle, the actor from the hit television show Suits, there's a lot of people that she's known for a lot of time. And there's people that she's had connections with over the years, people who she has written letters to, or that she has met at different occasions that we don't know about. You don't know her connection to these people. You don't know how long she's known these people. But because Oprah was at the wedding, we have to assume that, oh yeah, she only just met her when she invited her to the wedding. But you don't know that, Camilla. Camilla assumes that she knows everything, and then if she's wrong, she's not going to go back and say, oh, you know what, that one thing I said, she's not going to say anything. That Easter Island head of a so-called journalist is not going to fact check anything. She will say whatever it is that she thinks is obviously the truth, and she just goes by hunch and assumption. She doesn't actually, to the best of my knowledge, thoroughly check these things. In other words, she's saying the same stuff I could say just as a casual observer. And so people listen to these royal reporters and they believe they have the inside track. Well, if it's leaked from Kensington Palace or from Buckingham Palace, yeah, you've probably got that. But even some of that stuff, I suspect, is made up. And so then Philip says, oh, he could have kept his military titles, couldn't he? Well, you know, I'm not sure how sympathetic Philip is to the situation. And even Camilla, her tone changed. With Harry, her tone was very matter of fact. When it came to speaking of the Duchess of Sussex, it was a decidedly very coarse, irritated tone. And all of a sudden, her face kind of, I guess, morphed into more of a Tucker Carlson look than she already had. As usual, she really put that chin in it, which for her is unavoidable. But it's just so much surface to that face, and then it just opens up and begins to talk to you. I just cannot stand looking at her. And then of course she goes on to say that, they're just concerned they're going to use these titles and links as leverage to somehow leverage for what? He was born a prince of the realm. Prince Harry will never be anything less than a blue-blooded prince. He's always going to be a prince. What is he going to use? We don't even know what the frappuccino those titles are. We don't know anything about that stuff. You know, every so often we see the queen walk out looking like some kind of, like she's going to I guess a Halloween party or whatever, when she's got the big fedora, looking like one of the musketeers. We don't know what that stuff means. Okay, it's the Order of the Garter. I'm just saying, generally, most people don't know. It's the oldest order of chivalry, blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't mean anything over here. And I don't think Harry even belongs to that. But as far as I know, Prince William does. He's a member of the Order of the Garter. But, garter belts means something else to us. Garter belt pretty much means that it's like we associate garter belts with Walter Matthau or something. We don't think of that in modern terms. And then as she tries to express herself, this fake outrage, she really gets that Tucker Carlson look on her face. She has this kind of a Tucker Carlson outrage that she, she can't help herself. How is someone that negative day after day after day? And then the whole thing about Archie as a voracious reader. You know, as soon as it got to the talk of the bench, this chick got so animated. It was like someone injected her with a shot of caffeine or adrenaline. All of a sudden, you know, that big long face of hers just opened up and exploded with words. I don't get the hostility. Meghan never said, at no point did you hear Meghan say anything about Archie reading. She took the quality time of a postpartum mother, the quality time with her first child, and she turned it into something sadistic and filthy and sly, and it just boggles the mind. How do you take a beautiful moment between mother and son and turn it into something nefarious, something sly and slick and backhanded? Or you try to paint the Duchess of Sussex as being so naive that she thinks her child is a baby Einstein. That was just absolutely nasty. And it just goes to show she doesn't really care about the context of what she says. She doesn't care about the actual events. If it's enough to make the Duchess of Sussex look bad, if it's enough to disparage her or to twist her words, then I'm going to go for it. And then this... this person, then she declares that the reason for the leaving of the UK, of course she used that other term for them leaving that I refuse to say, but it sounds like Brexit. The reason for them leaving was because of Archie's title. That was the only reason. With everything else that's going on, that was the only reason why they left. The only reason why they left is because of this question of Archie's title. Everything else that has happened, no, that had nothing to do with it. Like terrorizing her through the media while she's pregnant and stuck in that shack of a servant's quarter of Frogmore House. Or Frogmore, what the heck is that? The Frogmore Cottage, yeah. So the whole time, while they're over at the Frogmore Cottage, the old servants' quarters in the middle of the swamp, I mean, you have the Duke and Duchess of Sussex living like they're in some kind of bayou or something, a place crawling with mosquitoes and frogs jumping all over the place. Frogs. Camilla Tominey. Oh, not much. Okay. So frogs jumping all over the place. And so they're over there living in this shack. And they debated about everything from a yoga studio. Doria's going to pack up everything and move in. There's just going to be a dance floor. There's all these things, a carpet bathtub. They're going to put in a jacuzzi and a sauna, and they're going to install a tennis court. All of these elaborate ideas that you hear from everyone but the Sussexes. And so, yeah, that had nothing to do with them leaving. And then, of course, the fact that you had that Duke of Cambridge on some kind of rampage because he couldn't stand the attention that the Sussexes was getting. So, you know, somehow he probably decided that, okay, well, we got to get him out of Kensington, but maybe that's not far enough. Let's just get him out of the country. I don't know what happened. Maybe that happened. Maybe it didn't. But whatever it was, I'm sure that it was more than just the baby's title. The lack of support and the hostility from that icy cold, frigid family called the Windsors, I'm sure that had nothing to do with it. It was just a matter of the titles. And of course, it's she's sitting on the sofa telling Oprah. I don't think they were on the sofa. I think they were in a garden chair. And whatever they were sitting on, this idea that they were given a courtesy title that they're not using, What title would they use for a 2-year-old kid? We've only got a handful of photos of Archie. We're not going around introducing him to people. He's just a kid. He's a baby, a toddler. He's not actually going out greeting crowds. He's not doing walkabouts. So what title would he use? He's not presenting at the BAFTA Awards. What title would he use? What title? Why would he use the title? When do you ever hear the Duke and Duchess of Sussex even mention Archie's name? That he would use the title. So how would you know whether they use it or not? And what would they use it for? In what circumstances would the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, on a routine basis, use the title, these so-called non-existent courtesy titles? When would they use them? That's what I don't understand about her argument. When would the baby use the titles? When, where, and how does this child use a title? So what is pointless? And furthermore, what would the titles do for him in California? Unless he calls himself the Fresh Prince, nobody cares. And again, this whole idea that they're trying to trade commercially on all of these things, the only thing that people know is that that's the Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, and that's the Duchess of Sussex. All of the other titles, if you say Earl of Dumbarton or whatever of Kilkere, Countess of Kilkere or Kilcare, whatever, what would people know about that? You know, could you imagine if Harry goes up to the McDonald's drive-thru and said, and says, I'm the Duke of Sussex, this is the Duchess of Sussex, and this is whatever that ridiculous baby title is. We'd like one Happy Meal. Where would that take them? Where exactly would that title take them? Camilla. And it's incredible to see the way this chick gets so wound up when she's talking about the Sussexes. And in particular, when she's speaking of Meghan, it's like she gets so animated and her body gets to jerking and stuff like she's having a fit. It's so strange. It's so strange. I bet you when she's trying to sleep at night, her fists are balled up and she's just twitching in the night, trying to figure out, what am I going to say about the Duchess of Sussex? What am I going to say?